get this book. It's awesome. Yeah.
I'm Stefan Baumann, and I want to welcome you to another Zoom call. This particular Zoom call is from my book club, Everything You Need to Know About Plein Air Painting, the Ultimate Guide. It's a field guide for painting outdoors. And in here, we discuss almost everything, but oops, we left something out. We left about painting out rainbows. So I got my Zoom group, which is free if you bought the book, and we included what it takes to paint a rainbow. Now, most of you probably think you know how to paint a rainbow, but there are so many surprises in here that you're going to wish that you have known this information before you even start painting a rainbow. This information is also in the book about how to handle lights and effects. Even though the rainbow's not in here, everything else that you need to know about painting light. And there are some secrets in here that you're going to get for free by watching. But there's so much more. Look at there's 400 pages, 500 illustrations. This isn't an ego book. This is the real thing. This will teach you how to see. And Mrs. Gugolinski, if you follow me on YouTube, Mrs. Gugolinski says, paint what you see, but you got to understand what that is. So sit back and enjoy this video. You're going to realize that everything you think you know is completely backwards. And the rest of the story is inside this book, but you will get the secret to painting rainbows. Watch this, and I'll talk to you on the other side. Hello, what were you thinking?
I was thinking two things. Like in the photo, I thought it was interesting how some some of what you see in the glasses is looking through it, and some is reflection, and then the rainbow. And then secondly, I was trying to make the rainbow cool colors and the rest of it pretty warm, except for the light on the table and somewhat the sky reflection.
You know, when I first saw this, I was like going, okay, a pair of sunglasses. Alrighty, but then I opened it up, oh my God, there's a rainbow in the sunglasses. Interesting thing when we paint rainbows, and it's going to be a little bit of a recap, is that rainbows, in order to have a rainbow, you usually have the light reflection behind you. We could kind of see that there's a light source that's coming in, and we have a cast shadow. Yeah, a little bit more on the right, we could tell that by the cast shadow. But it would have been like a little bit right and to that. So yeah, really observant. Yeah, here again too, if we could have moved the glasses so that the rainbow was on this side, because the light was coming from the right side, would have been a little bit better composition. But I'm not going to split hairs because the idea is great. And then let's take a look to see what you did with it. So here we have your finished work. And if you want to know if the temperatures are working, you can squint your eyes. And if you squint, we should see a cool yellow, a cool red, and a cool blue. And if you squint, you notice she's got blue on here, but it kind of disappears. And yellow does, the red does too. Now, again, we're painting idealistic ideas of a rainbow. So we can be more painterly. And if her image shows more yellow and barely no blue or even purple or any other color in there, you kind of want to take a little artistic license. Now, in the back of my book here, there's the very back page. There's an artistic license. I don't know how many of you actually discovered it, but it's on the very last page here. And I had Mary put that in. And so if you read the book from cover to cover correctly and you went through the whole thing, you will discover the artistic license, which is something that you can actually fill out yourself. And it's already signed. So you're already giving yourself artistic license. But you should know all this knowledge that's in this book in order for you to use the artistic license. So when you use an artistic license, you already understand that a rainbow's got a cool blue and a cool red. And you could apply your artistic license here so that we're not looking at a shattered piece of glass. We're actually looking at a rainbow. So I'm not feeling that it's truly a rainbow. Beautiful, cool color. See, the light that's reflecting in the glasses is a cool color. And you can see it's kind of turquoisey. Excellent job. You're so close, but you could have played with this a little bit more. but great idea. Now, I want to talk a little bit about being an artist. Now, I can't make you an artist. I can drive you there. I can hold your hand and walk up the hill to the artistic genius section. I can have you drink artist water and eat artisan bread, show you how to do all these things, hold your brush and do all this stuff. Being an artist is different. Being an artist requires you to be an artist, to actually think things through and become more original. When I first went to the Academy of Art, she said, you got to do a self-portrait in pencil. And I sat there and drew myself. And at the end of the semester, we turned it all in. And these artists had these wonderful, I was 21 living in Lake Tahoe. I wasn't really exposed to much. And so all these artists had these wonderful interpretations of themselves and, oh, gorgeous. And I looked at my little stupid drawing of my self-portrait and I thought, I got to step up my game. This is thinking out of the box. I think a lot of you sat there and said, what a clever lady she is. So anyway, so very, very good job. We're moving right ahead. We got lots of rainbows. So what were you thinking?
Well, I have never painted a rainbow before. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to do this challenge too. And lately I've been working in watercolor. So this was the 6th attempt before I got it to where I thought it was okay. I'm very cognizant of there's always these two different values of cloud behind. There's always a dark and a light. So always paying attention to that. And then it was just a matter of, with watercolor, you got to have the right amount of water and paint on the brush to get the blend. And because you don't blend, it just happens.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then Mary was writing things on the rainbow, and she was we're doing this because it's not in the book. And she was writing things that she said, so the purple that you have is a dioxide purple. So dioxide purple is warm.
You had to tell them.
Yeah. And so no, but that's the learning thing, is
Right.
that rainbows absolutely have to be made up with cool colors. And they have to be, sensitive to the values that they are. So here what we have is you kind of fix it. But look at down here where the light is actually illuminated. It's like, it's really important to have this and the warm and hitting that. But down here, you could have had a little bit more of a cool color just to get more illuminated light. But here we have a lemon yellow, phthalo red rose, and then we have a purple that should be made up of phthalo red rose and cerulean blue or cyan blue, which is the blue that we have here. Absolutely has to be 3 cool colors. Without that, we don't get the rainbow effect. And here's a good example of that. But the thing is, if you notice where you see that light that's hitting the moisture underneath the umbrella, very similar to what Mary was doing. Okay, you see that cerulean blue really stands out, and he transitions that to a warm background. Without this warm background, these colors really wouldn't stand out. And we can vary the values of this depending on, because there are times when the light source is being blocked, or it's the exact same temperature as the background and it disappears. But it is crucial. I can tell you how many people have a hard time seeing it, and yet it's just such a simple idea.
And if I may say, that last painting,
Yes.
I mean, what a great effort to put the reflection of the rainbow in the water.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was, I mean, and I think this is the original photograph, I think, of it. No, that's another attempt. So this is the same artist, another attempt. And here he was using warmer colors and not enough white to make the value. You add white to your color to get the value. And here he's lightening it up. You can see this, you see how it's kind of yellow and dingy as opposed to how fresh and bright this is.
Whose painting is this? TF.
I can't remember. Tim, I think.
Is he here today?
Yes, that would be mine, Tim.
Yes, Tim, there you are. So anyway, so you're getting kudos. Uh, when you gave me this wonderful big sky thing, it's just, yeah, it's so beautiful. Look at that sky. Oh my God, I want to go paint that. And then look at the rainbow down below. I mean, again, you know, be clever when you do painting. Don't just give me a rainbow. Be clever, you know, and find pictures that do this. There's a lot of photographers that do this and you can go for it. But if you squint your eyes on this, you'll notice that even where the highlight color is underneath, it's slightly warmer. And this really cool light appears. And you can, if you squint your eyes on that screen, I'll make it a little bit bigger for those of you that are looking on phones. But if you squint your eyes at this, you'll actually see a red, yellow, and blue. You actually see the rainbow in there, as far away as that is. And that's how sensitive we are to the manipulation of light through prisms. We are absolutely actually always on the verge of seeing a rainbow, and we don't know it. And it's just when the conditions are just right, they'll pop up. And when you squint your eyes, you could go, wow, all the colors there. How does that happen? I don't know. But then let's take a look at her rendition of this. Now, she sent me this big, beautiful photograph of her photo, and then I ended up with this little tiny low pixel, no matter what I do. And the thing is, even I couldn't even get your name on this without shrinking it down.
Sorry.
So make sure you give me good files when you send them and put your name on them before. All of you put your name on the files.
Even see.
But you can see, we don't see the rainbow in here, the thing that you went to go after the painting. And if you kind of look at this, when we're looking at a rainbow, we're looking at red, yellow, and blue infused over the whole scene. So we have rainbow actually in the white part of the sky. Yeah, we don't see it. It's not organized enough, but variations red, yellow, and blue. You should never have anything white. Never have anything white. And I had people, you know, they in my coaching classes, they go, well, I'll use some titanium white, and then over here I use pure zinc white because it's bluer, and then I have some Kremitz white over here. White's a value maker, it's not a color. It either will make your color lighter or darker, and it really doesn't matter what kind of white you want to use. Preferably the cleanest, brightest white is best, because all you're trying to do is add white to make a value, but there's always color in it. And so if we now look at this light, which is coming definitely behind us, infusing this, look at the color of that cloud. Is it white? Compared to this, compared to the upper right-hand corner. Look at how yellow that is. And then if we actually compare that corner to the white of this, you know, what's around my screen, you'll even see that there's color in here. So you never use pure white. And when we're looking at your painting, yeah, we could see whipped cream. Yeah, it's just like, there's nothing in here that's harmonizing. These things are really important things to learn.
Yeah, if you're having trouble seeing a really subtle color, or you're just not sure, if you have a pure white piece of paper, or some art stores sell a little, like the value scales, and they'll have a white square on there, hold that up against what you're looking at, compare it to white, and that'll help you see if it's a pale yellow or a pale orange or blue, what have you.
Yeah. And even on this painting, because this is, you know, like a computer generated painting, you know, a professional photographer or something like that. Look at how brown and dark blue, how warm, look at how brownish and icky a lot of that color is. You know, we tend to avoid not looking at what's there, trying to think we're going to make a better effort if we clean it up a little bit. And you can see what makes this beautiful is all of the warm color with this little streak of blue. It's very eye-catching. Are you here today? I know you are, because I let you in.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So here we have a rainbow, and it's actually effective. I think you could have added a little bit more blue in the a little more cerulean blue in the
Yes.
darker. It could have been more cerulean blue like. And you know, when we're looking at a rainbow, it should be kind of a bright blue. Don't just take it for granted. And you're going to have to manipulate the colors as you go. And I was talking with Mary when doing the article. It's like you just don't take ever anything. And it's like with the Grand Canyon. Be spontaneous at the moment and make decisions. Don't just say, oh, he said cerulean blue. I'm going to take cerulean blue out of the tube and put it on. We want to get the effect of that luminous quality. Most artists have two things. No, I should say few artists have two things. Most artists have values, and most artists don't understand temperature. You guys, because you bought the book and you're taking coaching from me, is that you have temperature and value. When you start using the power of temperature, everything is going to change in your artwork. The background sky could be darker, and if we darken this up in here, this is going to shine up more.
Oh.
So if you want a bright, beautiful rainbow, you want to put it against a much warmer background. So this could have been a little bit warmer, but still very nice. Here's an artist that she sent a moonscape in because she figured, part of the homework this week is going to be moonset. So Peggy's working here. And again, look at the cool moon compared to all the warm color. We could have had some transition coming through here a little bit better. This side could have tied into this side, but it's the beginning of something really nice. The palm trees should have a little bit more cool sparkle on them because the light is cool. And we could have brought some reflection down into the water.
Okay.
Here again, too, this is a picture that we've seen just to refresh your memory. But look at how everything is illuminated from the front to be able to get a really strong highlight. And look at how bright and light that is compared to the background. You can see how that really stands out. Here is Frederick's church painting, just to remind you a little bit. Look at here again, too, you could see absolutely cool cerulean, cool lemon. And look at that yellow, that red in there is magenta. Now, if you're going to paint the purple that's in a rainbow, you're going to take the cerulean blue and you're going to mix it with magenta, and that will make the purple. So you can see there's a slight purple. And purple is one of those colors in a rainbow that doesn't really show up unless under extreme circumstances. But purple out of the tube is warm, and we're dealing with cool colors. And you could see it absolutely. Now look at how cool that is. Look at how warm, brownish the sky is in comparison. And then look at how right here, we just added more white to increase the value that we have the effect of light. Same thing here. Now, some of you put in rainbows into your painting and they're boring because it's all the same. But look at what Frederick Church does. He's got this beautiful bright light, really shows up against all these warm colors, and then beautiful light hitting this. And then it disappears. And then boom, it gets light and then dark. And so a lot of this depends on conditions and variety. Always think about the variety that you can actually do. Even in the sky here, look at this ultramarine blue up here. And as it comes down to the highlight here, it goes from ultramarine blue to cerulean blue to like a lemon yellow. It's like these laws that I'm teaching you in painting are just so obvious when you start training your eye. Here again, too, a very poor attempt because look at how muddy and warm that red is. You're not getting an illuminated effect. Real quickly here, too, this is a Ennis painting. Here again, you have the light colors on warm. It's somewhat successful because it really is cool against warm, but look at how everything is warm. Everything in a painting should be warm, and that's one of the keys that you'll discover as you start painting more and more. There's another. This is when you're adding a rainbow and you're unaware of what's sitting on. You can see this feels so out of place. And watch this. In fact, I should sit here and wait for one of you to go, but wait. But this is why you have to know the light logic. This is why you have to know what's happening. Notice the cast shadows of the trees. The light's coming from the right. In order for us to see a rainbow, we have the light coming at us. We wouldn't have cast shadows. How many of you saw that?
Behind us. You mean from behind us?
Yeah, so we'd have the light behind us, but look at the cast shadows over here.
Right.
The light wouldn't do that. That's why that thing looks out of place.
Mm-hmm.
Subconsciously, we get it. Subconsciously, we've seen the rainbows and all of the things that are going on, we kind of know. we don't notice it until it's out of place. But I guarantee you, every one of you that looked at this said, whoa, that sucks. And I could say that because he's not one of my students. So, but the thing is, you would have to have light coming directly onto everything in order to have a rainbow. And then this would make more sense. So when you get light logic and when you get light wrong, you can't hide.
And a lot of the pictures you liked, the light was way lighter underneath the rainbow than on top of it. Is that something we should notice or do?
It is kind of a phenomenon. You do see that, and that's why you can see several of the paintings had that, like Mary's painting had that. And it all depends on, you know, the effect of light. Sometimes the rainbow doesn't have that, but you kind of have to get that when light is hitting something, water, you know, moisture in the air, that becomes somewhat opaque. And there you would actually have outside of the rainbow other illuminated areas or a secondary rainbow, which we actually see here. So there are a lot of effects. I feel personally that rather than just having a hard edge coming down to the earth, that having some illuminated spots is interesting. I would do some checkering for those of you who are, you know, a little bit more advanced and in my coaching program. So I would have some checkering, and this will be it. And then hopefully we've answered your questions. But right here, you see, that's the center focal point. He's put in the light. He's one of my favorite coaching students. It's like, ah, there it is. And then, you know, as the light comes up, you could see it transitions. Now, right here, I would have gone a little darker sooner. And then, like with Frederick Church's, I would have illuminated the light on the rainbow here, like we saw Frederick Church do, and darken this a bit and just light that up and then go brighter light like he has here. So I would have actually like done several. Now, one thing is if you have something that's illuminated like that, and then this is so powerfully illuminated, you may want to consider, if you want to make this light brighter, is actually darkening the telephone pole, even though the light's coming towards it. If you take your hand and stick it in front of a window, if the light's super bright, your hand becomes dark. It cancels out even the light that's in front of it. So I think it would have been more interesting to have that dark, but still very good. And the reason why we have this book is because Mrs. Gugulinski says, paint what you see. And I can't tell you how many people out there are painting things that they think they see. If you're not sensitive to these things, if you don't follow what we're saying in the book, and if you don't follow light logic and you don't listen to Mrs. Gugulinski and learn to paint what you see, you are destined to paint very chintzy birch paintings that, you know, might be nice wallpaper, but they won't bring people to the woods. And all this stuff is subconscious in our brains. And when it's wrong, like that rainbow, when it's wrong, it hits you really hard. And a lot of the birch and aspen trees that I've seen in paintings are not successful because you go, oh, look, with a palette knife, I can make, you know, birch trees. And so you're taking white and going over gray and you go, look at that, you know, and yet it's kind of like a Bob Ross painting. It doesn't have the subtleties of nature. The observations of nature is what we have to learn. And this book isn't going to teach you how to paint. It's going to teach you how to see. And our conversations that I'm pointing out here is so that you understand what's happening in front of you. It is summer. This is an outdoor painting group. Take your book out there. If you have any artist friends that are not informed and you want to get into real interesting conversations, tell them to buy the book. Because once you learn this, you alienate a lot of artists around you because they refuse to change their way. So you don't want to be a troglodyte. You want to move into the the new realm of understanding how to paint light. And so if they're in the dark, get them to go this book because you'll have a really good friend for the rest of your life because you'll be able to analyze things that are right in front of you. So until then, Mary, thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the help that you do.
Everybody, have a great month.
You guys rock. And, you know, if you have questions, say book club on the top, send in your questions. I'll forward them to Mary. She'll be sure that she'll answer. She'll bring them up during our talks if you don't want to do anything. But please just be sure that you read your emails and get your artwork in, because you want to be part of this. Yeah, it's one thing if you kind of listen to our conversations, but get on board. And I have a workshop coming up this fall up here in Mount Shasta, another one that is in Vegas. So, and then remember in January, we're doing the Bahamas. So if you guys want to get your artistic license signed in person, bring your book and come and paint with us. Until then, you guys have an incredible weekend and go and paint till you faint. Take care, everybody. See, I told you. There are so many interesting things on painting a rainbow, and that's just a little bit. And this is actually part of the book club. And we have the book club because we're going through each of these chapters. And no, you're not getting the whole thing. You're getting bits and pieces, but we had to do this rainbow issue because it's not in here. There are 13 keys. You need to know these keys before you go out to paint. Keep on watching my YouTube videos and guess your way through painting like you have been. But if you really want to learn how to paint, and I've worked with students for 40 years, thousands of students. I have figured out if there is a secret, it's in here, but you still need coaching because you need to get it to all come together. You already know how to paint. You just need to tell people, stop doing that and replace it with this. And that's what I teach. So anyway, so give me a call if you want coaching. Until next time, if you get the book, you can join us on the book club. It's once a month on Saturday at 11 o'clock. If you can't make that book club, it's recorded and you can watch the entire thing at your leisure. But I highly recommend to get involved with your painting. Get involved with the book. Dive in and get some of these answers and quit guessing and quit watching a bunch of YouTubes thinking you got to find the answer. That doesn't matter. You know most of this information. You just need to how to organize it in your head. So give me a call, 415-606-9074. Until I talk to you in one of the book clubs or my Patreon group or my coaching, you have an amazing day. And remember, keep on painting and don't put it off. Start right now. Do a rainbow painting. You'll love it. Start right now. Stop watching videos. Stop it. Don't go for the next video. Turn off the computer and start painting now.
As a beginner plein air painter, I've been struggling with a few things with my art and just couldn't quite get it right. There was always something missing. Got my hands on this book here, the Plein Air Guide, the Field Guide to Plein Air Painting, and I just skimmed through it a couple times and saw a bit about organizing your palette and temperatures, and it made a world of difference in everything it is that I'm doing now. So if you get a chance, go buy this book, The Field Guide to Plein Air Painting. It has truly changed the way that I'm seeing things and the way that I'm painting now. Get this book. It is phenomenal.